Welcome to the podcast with purpose.
Hey, welcome back to another episode. It is episode 7 of the podcast with purpose. I typically don't tell our listeners what day of the week it is because it doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to tell you today is Monday, October 3rd. Yesterday was Sunday, October 2nd, and that happened to be National Custodians Day. And that's something we really like to celebrate here at Human Technologies. And our guest today is very fitting. It is Frank Castellano, Director of Environmental Services. I'm going to let him introduce himself, give you the whole rundown, but we'll first start with getting an overview of his time with Human Technologies. Frank?
Good morning, Nate. How you doing this morning?
Doing well, thank you.
A little bit about myself. When I first started with Human Technologies and Environmental Services, it was 2010. It actually was on Halloween, which was kind of funny when I first started. But I started on a mobile run. I was a project supervisor, and I ran on that run for probably about 6 months, and then they asked me if I wanted to run to college down in Herkimer for the summer, and that was cleaning the apartments, and so I supervised that. During my performance cleaning at the college, they came up to me and asked me about going to the state fair for a couple of weeks of running that, where we actually had to hire 350 people, new employees, and what we were responsible for was removing all the trash on the grounds and sweeping and maintaining the grounds while there were 100,000 people walking around. So it was very interesting, and being my first time at the state fairgrounds ever, I never had been there. It was a little bit overwhelming, but after being there for a few days, everything went well. From there, I was promoted to an area supervisor on nights, where I was in charge of running multiple crews, multiple mobile runs. And we at the time made some changes where they wanted to put a manager on for Utica, where I was interested in that position, so I put in for it. And at the time, I think it was Mike Salser, who was here as the director, created the position and promoted me to the manager of Utica. Then from there, I went to. From there, I was helping out in Rome. I was helping out in Binghamton. I was helping out in Syracuse and Buffalo, because I was very interested in learning all the new accounts we had and meeting our employees. That's when they had promoted me to a regional manager. Being a regional manager, I was mostly responsible for Rome and Utica. I did assist with Binghamton, Syracuse, and Buffalo at the time to help out with any issues that might arise, hiring processes, things like that. About a year and a half later, the COO had promoted me to director, and that's where I sit today. Most of, everything I do is a combination of all the jobs that I've had. I'm responsible for financial operations, new business, quoting, staffing. So it's a combination of everything I've already done over the past.
That's interesting to hear. I like the fact that, Frank doesn't just come into this position and saying, hey, we needed somebody to run environmental services. Frank, you're the guy for it. Frank has literally worked every probably single job position you could within environmental services. So, he talks the talk and he walks the walk, so to speak. State Fair, you brought that up too. That was, I remember we no longer hold that contract, but that was a lot of years of doing that, a lot of excellence, and to be thrown into that must have been.
It was kind of amazing.
Yeah.
It was a real experience.
So tell me now, environmental services, Human Technologies, environmental services. Give our listeners an overview. What are we doing? How many people? Where are we? What's going on with that?
Well, right now, a majority of our accounts are in the Mohawk Valley, Syracuse, Buffalo, Binghamton, Norwich. We have approximately 200 employees with 100 sites, if not more than that. our capabilities of what we do are basically, we do general janitorial, we do strip and wax, we do carpet extraction, we do windows in some cases, not all, and then we do special projects too. So, like during the COVID pandemic, people wanted extra cleaning put on during the days, we hire people and put them on for high touch cleaning and things like that. So we also do that type of work.
All right. And what are some of our larger, I know we're in a lot of the county buildings in New York. What are some of our contracts throughout New York?
Well, we take care of Oneida County buildings like the Oneida County Office Building, Oneida County Court, the Law Library. There's 17 buildings that we have that are Oneida County. We do the MVHS satellites, as far as commercial goes, and the Gilroy sites. We do the federal building, the Alex Perney building. We have Rome Labs. We have quite a few sites, and so many that I can't name them all there in this interview.
Yeah. Very good. Now, you mentioned, and let's see if we can touch on it a little bit further, because we are in all of these buildings, a lot of the buildings like the courthouse, any building we service is met with 100% attention. But we have some of these buildings, the courthouses, the federal buildings. During COVID, our customers couldn't, they were all essential buildings that were still open and couldn't manage a shutdown. And they depended on human technologies to come in and make sure those buildings were A, safe for their employees to enter, and B, still had that same level of service and cleaning. What are some of the things we did during COVID to keep it that way?
Well, during COVID, the customers were adding day labor to do high touch cleaning, which was great because what that allowed us to do is keep disinfecting things as they were being used during the day. And then at night, we would follow the same processes. Of course, we always wear our PPE, mask and glasses and everything else when we're disinfecting and cleaning high touch areas, trying to prevent, any spread of the virus, which is almost impossible. But as long as you're staying on top of it, you have a better chance of not spreading it from person to person as much.
What about, I know environmentally friendly cleaning options are a huge thing now. Is human technologies able to provide that to our customers?
Yes. Well, we can do green cleaning as much as possible. So our chemicals are green in most cases. Most disinfectants aren't green, but your neutral cleaners and things like that are green. The machines that we use, how high the decibels are on the machines is all part of being green. One of the most important things with green cleaning is the customer plays a big role because green cleaning isn't just the chemicals, machines, and tools that you're using. It's also the prevention of getting dirt in the building, preventing dirt from coming in the building, whether it's filtration systems, what type of carpet you're using coming into the building. So a lot of that plays a role on how much dirt is actually coming into your buildings. That's where green cleaning can get a little bit tricky when, we can provide the green cleaning, but we also need the customer to be on the same page and want to, invest the money they need to in order to prevent dirt from coming into the building, using less water. It's all part of green.
Beautiful. So yesterday, I said in the beginning, yesterday was National Custodians Day. I know we have the best team in New York State out there cleaning on a daily basis and busting their humps. The Director of Environmental Services, Frank Castellano, what is a message you have for that team?
Words are hard to, to really explain to our workers how important they are and the role they play. And, I understand being out there that sometimes things can be frustrating and you can go through some hard times out there or some conflicts, especially when we're dealing with specifications of a contract or quality control. I want to thank everybody out there, and I understand what we go through out there. So I want to thank all the employees for doing an outstanding job, especially during the pandemic, especially now that people are coming back. We got to pick it up. And we have to make sure that we're performing at the highest level, which I know they do. So I want to thank them all. I want to thank the cleaners, the managers, and the supervisors for an outstanding performance. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Frank. Well said. And I think a lot of times, I do this in my life. I've walked into a building, take the train station, for instance, the train station in Utica. It is a beautiful building, and that is one of the contracts we clean. And I can't tell you how many times I walk into that building and I'm just overtaken by the beauty of it, but also how clean and pristine it is. And it looks immaculate. And I am proud to walk in that building because I know that is human technology's hard work. So what I'm trying to get at in a slow manner is when you're anywhere in public and you walk into a building and you notice how beautiful and how clean it is, it didn't just get that way by itself. There's extremely hardworking men and women busting their humps day in, day out to keep those buildings looking like that. And next time you see that, and if you see someone in there cleaning, take the time to thank them for how nice that looks. I mean, I think that'll go a long way. There's that old saying, not all heroes wear capes. In this case, it is true. They're keeping this place beautiful looking, and they're also keeping it safe for you and your family. When you enter there, there's not as much germ floating around and everything. So that's something to take into consideration. And also, Frank, I know you have an extremely busy schedule, so I can't thank you enough for sitting down with us today. I think, again, our environmental services is growing so fast and all these new contracts. I think Frank will be a regular voice here on the podcast to fill us in some more. And I'd like to get some of his area managers and supervisors in here as well. And maybe some of the people right in the buildings doing all the hard work in here as well. So thank you, Frank, for sitting with us today.
Thank you, Nate.